Today I'm looking to make a sformato di verdura, which is like a vegetable flan, and I'm picking just a variety of peas. I will be picking also some broad beans. I'll show you in a moment. Not a lot, just a bit of everything, so that we don't have a single ingredient that takes over. These are mange too, but as they've gone a little bit wild while we were on holiday, they've got peas in, so I'll show you here, look. So I'm going to pick them also. So
they're really sweet too, aren't they?
Yes, they'll add a nice variety to our meal. And these are some of my favorite broad beans. They are absolutely delicious. They're not very big actually, and I think
it's not a good year this year. It's a bit dry here.
That's partly why they're so tasty, because they are nice and tender. I'm picking a little parsley, as I will need this also for additional flavour. And over here there is also some basil, so I'll go right down low. Otherwise Julie will tell me off. And I'll pick a good couple of stems, 1 and 2. I'm also pinching a little chard, and I will also be attacking some of the spinaches in a moment. Okay, I think I've got enough spinach also, so I'll see you indoors and I'll start cooking. And there we go again. I have washed all of my vegetables. Also, I have shelled all of my broad beans and peas. Together they weigh, by the way, 250 grams. You do not have to use broad beans and peas. You can use just broad beans or peas, or a combination of both. That's the beauty of picking your own vegetables from the garden. Also, Julie has donated me 3 zucchini flowers over here, so I will be using those. I've got here 1 large clove of garlic, and you'll see me picking some parsley and some basil. I will be using also some potatoes. These are potatoes which, again, I've picked from our garden this morning. I have boiled them already and they've cooled down, and they are about 500 grams in weight. I have grated a fresh ball of mozzarella, 125 grams, and also I've got here some cheddar cheese, again 125 grams, which I grated earlier. And also in terms of the ingredients, I've got 1 egg, 1 large egg, and I will be using a few dried breadcrumbs, olive oil, salt and pepper, as always. And as often is the case with these dishes, I'll start with a little olive oil and garlic, which I've just crushed. My temperature is on a medium high at the moment, and my garlic has been sizzling for a good 30 seconds, and I'll start by adding my peas and my broad beans. I'm leaving everything at the moment on a high temperature, but I'm going to add a tiny little amount of water. Quick mix, and I'll turn the temperature down and I'll place the lid on, and I will leave them now to gently cook for about 4 to 5 minutes, enough for the peas and for the broad beans to soften up. You might not be aware of it, but actually you can eat the zucchini flowers, but I'm going to just chop them broadly in small pieces like this first. And I will add them to my peas and broad beans so that they can start releasing some early flavors. 5 minutes on, and my beans and peas will be partly cooked, and they smell really good, I have to say. So a gentle mix, and I can now add the rest of my chopped chard and spinach. And I'm not going to mix anything, as this will go down in volume considerably. I just place the lid on, and I will leave it to gently cook temperature medium for another 5 to 7 minutes. Which is the perfect amount of time I need so that I can get my other ingredients ready. And I'll start with my potatoes. They've cooled down now, obviously, and I'm going to mash them, but I'm not going to do them too fine. I like to leave them slightly bigger, and I enjoy the rustic consistency in them. So I'll just go along, and maybe I'll go once or twice over each piece. And this is what I mean here. I've got a few pieces which are still whole, but also some very, very finely mashed potatoes. And I'll move them into a larger bowl so that I can start collecting all of my ingredients together. Before I forget, I'm going to add some salt, but I will only be adding half a teaspoon, as my cheddar is mature, extra mature, it is quite salty. So depending on what sort of cheese you are using, you might want to regulate it, but try not to add too much, because you can always add it at the end. You cannot take it away, of course. And talking of which, cheddar goes in next, followed by my grated fresh mozzarella. Parsley next, and basil. Of course, you can use any herbs you like, but parsley and basil are very, very summery, and they are absolutely beautiful with this dish. And I'll mix everything together to see what it looks like, but of course I will be adding the rest of the vegetables next. And all of my vegetables are ready, and I haven't actually touched them. I wanted to show you. See, they've shrunk considerably, and literally 7 minutes, and they're ready to be added. Do not worry that they're hot, by the way, because it will be going in the oven anyhow, and you will have a little water or liquid left. That is fine also, just leave it in, because it will actually help in the oven. So I'm adding everything together, and there it is. I will be adding my egg in a minute, but I will mix it all together to ensure that it cools down slightly so that the egg doesn't cook. Great, time for the egg, so in it goes. Actually, I think that adding the vegetables when they're really hot is a really good thing, because if you look, the cheese is melting beautifully already, and it helps combining all of the ingredients. Okay, so I'll put this on one side and I'll get my oven dish ready. And here it is. I will start by adding a little olive oil at the bottom first. And using a little brush, I'll just cover the entire surface, including the sides, like this. I've got my dried breadcrumbs here. Actually, I made a video on how I make breadcrumbs, a new video. I will be releasing that shortly, and this is a combination of two types of bread, but I will not spoil it for you. I'll put enough in there just to cover the entire base, and then what I do, I'll shake it together, and then I'll start going around the edges like this also. 1, 2, 3, and as I've applied some olive oil, you can see that the breadcrumbs are getting attached to my oven dish, and this will prevent the mix to get stuck when it goes in the oven. There it is. And all I've got left to do now is to just add my mix to my oven dish. And like magic, looks like I've done it before. I've got the perfect amount in. And using my wooden spoon, I'm actually pressing it down quite firmly so that it cooks properly. And I think it's good like this. However, before it goes in the oven, I've got one last sprinkle of breadcrumbs. Not a lot, just enough to make it lovely and crunchy once it comes out. Literally just a sprinkle so that the entire surface of my sformato is covered like this. And I'll finish the job by applying a few knobs of butter. You can see that my butter is very liquidy, as we keep it actually in the kitchen at room temperature. So just a few knobs like this is fine. That'll be perfect. And there it is ready to go in the oven. You'll say in the oven? Yes, I know it's hot, but trust me, it will be definitely worthwhile, especially if you're planning to eat it cool, which is what we're going to be doing later. It will be going in for 30 minutes, that is 30, at a temperature of 180 degrees. So I'll see you then. And there we are, 30 minutes exactly, and it is ready. And I have been joined by my favorite camera lady, Julie.
Yep, the smell drew me in. It smells lovely.
So it's really hot, so I'm going to leave it now for about 20 minutes because I want to see if I can actually remove it from the oven dish. And also I did say earlier that we will be eating ours cooler, so I'll see you in about 20 to 25 minutes. 20 minutes on, and you can see I'm touching the oven dish quite safely. Has cooled down considerably, and I'm now dislodging the sides from my oven dish, and it's working quite well. So the breadcrumb trick is really useful. Now I'm going to attempt something which I've never done before. It might spoil it, hopefully not, but I've got here one of those cake sort of dishes.
Would that be one of those dishes that you constantly tell me when we're in Sicily we don't need to take home?
Okay, so I'm going to, firstly actually, I'm going to show you something.
Is that going to be big enough? I hate to point this out.
Yes, it is, yes. I'm going to see if, yeah,
Ooh.
It's moving, it's going flop, plop, plop. So I'll put this on top, and I'll turn it the other way around first, like this. There it is.
Ooh.
And that's already come off. And now I'm going to remove this. And that doesn't look wonderful like this. So I've got something else in mind here. Ooh! So I've got my little wooden board, which is where it's going to go. And I'll do it again. I'll cut in the middle. And very assertively, voila! And there it is. I've managed it.
Wow. It did hold together nicely, didn't it?
It did, yes. So that 20 minutes has helped for it to cool down, but also it actually denses up, and if you want to take it out of your oven dish, you could try something similar, but you might need something like this. And having successfully removed it without spoiling it, using a steak knife, I'm able to now slice it relatively easily. It's working quite well actually. The longer you leave this, the more it will set, but also the tastier it will become. This is the sort of food that you can make the day before for the day after, so it will stay in the fridge 3-4 days easily.
I'll just have a little taster. I'll get rid of that.
Trust you. Okay, so there we go. Ready, Julie? Oh, what does it look like?
Oh, it looks good.
Looks good.
Lovely. Tastes very lovely too.
Yeah, you can see the peas and can you see the beans?
I can see broad bean.
Oh,
I can't
yes,
see any
yes,
peas.
yes,
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
You can, yeah. Oh, it's really lovely. You know what? The broad beans is what I can immediately taste, shortly followed by the wonderful flavour of the peas. It's really delicious. Definitely worthwhile making. And definitely worthwhile waiting as well. Hopefully you'll make it, and the series of Patch to Plate continues. Thank you for your feedback, and thank you for your suggestions. See you later. Thank you for watching, and enjoy. Bye.